Vô, chào các bạn. Chào mừng các bạn đã tới với kênh Kinh doanh quốc tế nha các bạn. Kênh mình được thành lập vào ngày 8 tháng 12 năm 2023. Bây giờ là 11 giờ 29 phút sáng các bạn. Hôm nay là ngày 8 tháng 12 năm 2023. Mình thành lập ra kênh Kinh doanh quốc tế đó mày. Mình cho các bạn về chapter 17, chương 17 của một chương 17 được tên là Accounting and Finance Function nha các bạn. Theo là tới là Finance and Treasury Function. Thì kế toán và cái gì đấy, Treasury là cái gì? Là tài chính và kho bạc. Finance là tài chính, Treasury là kho bạc các bạn. The Treasury function, cash management. Treasury is the management of cash, funding and financial risk. In a company, the Treasury function is responsible for cash management and arranging loans and bank overdrafts. It may also be responsible for some financial risk management. Nature and importance of cash. Cash includes notes and coins, money in bank accounts. A business must have sufficient cash to pay its obligation when they are due. Failure to do might lead to disruption in operation, financial distress, and possible bankruptcy. The cash management, cash to cover day-to-day expenses should generally come from normal business operation. Customer payments, the balance available to the company varies over time. In the short term, long-term cash management runs short because of long-term reasons, either because it is making losses or needs money to buy new capital assets. So when this happens, the company may try to borrow from its bank. If there's a long-term need for more cash, it would be the job of Treasury or the finance director to negotiate terms in borrowing the money. Cash control. Cash is an asset that significantly handling and misappropriation risk. Significant handling thì mà tài sản có rủi ro đáng kể và xử lý về việc xử lý về biến thủ and misappropriation risk. The Treasury Department may be responsible for procedures to ensure that the cash is held and handled securely. Money held in the bank may also be at risk, especially if many different managers được ủy quyền thanh toán từ ngân hàng. So the Treasury Department may have control over the payments from the bank account. There's also a risk that employees may use their company credit cards or unauthorized spending, such as buying items for personal use. The Treasury function managing and paying taxes. Tax mitigation, utilization of provisions within tax regulation to legitimately reduce tax liability. Tax mitigation. Giảm nhẹ thuế, sử dụng các điều khoản trong các quy định về thuế để giảm bớt nghĩa vụ nộp thuế một cách hợp pháp. These pay tax on their profits. They can also make claims against tax if they make losses. Taxation can significantly impact profits and cash flows. So companies usually try to minimize their tax liabilities. Large companies may employ tax specialists and employees to give tax advice and recommend arrangements for the company's tax affairs. Still, it is more common to hire the services of external tax consultants. Tax avoidance using methods that are legally available to reduce tax liabilities. This may include exploiting loopholes.
Using methods that are legally available to reduce tax liability. This may include exploiting loopholes in tax legislation and may be against the spirit of the law.
Bao gồm những việc lợi dụng sơ hở trong pháp luật thuế và có thể đi ngược lại tinh thần của pháp luật. Tax evasion. Trốn thuế, không nộp các khoản nợ thuế đến hạn nộp pháp. Failure to pay tax liability that are legally due. The Treasury function managing working capital. Defining working capital. Working capital can be defined in different ways. In a finished good work in process and raw material. trade receivable, trade payables, working capital equal inventory plus trade receivable minus trade payables. Below is a sample of working capital cycle of 90 days. Cash by raw materials, 30 days credit. Turn materials into goods, 60 days. Hold goods and inventory into sold, 15 days. Goods sold, receivable, 45 days. Trade receivable day, working capital cycle, 90 days. Trade receivable days, 45, 30. Managing working capital when the business buys materials and supplies and hold and invest cost cash. For example, suppose that business buy goods from resale from manufacturers and pay for its purchase immediately. We have It will have spent cash to obtain inventory supporters. It will allow its customer time to pay for their purchase. This represents an additional cash investment because the business has already paid the good for it, has sold and yet to collect money from customers. Investment in current asset reduce available cash. The net investment in working capital is reduced by credit taken from supplier. Main point to understand here is that working capital represents the investment of cash. If the investment in inventory can be reduced, for example, by reducing the time that items are held in inventory before they are sold. Investment in the working capital will be diminished and cash will be released. Similarly, if receivable can be reduced, for example, by making sure that customers pay what they owe on time, the working capital investment will be diminished, will be cash benefit. Working capital equal investment in inventory plus investment in receivables minus amount owed to suppliers. Reducing investment in current assets will release cash. Reducing investment in current assets will release. Giảm đầu tư vào tài sản lưu động sẽ giải phóng tiền mặt. The treasury function may be responsible for monitoring the investment in working capital and reporting the measure accountable if inventory or receivables appear to be growing too much. The treasury function risk management là quản trị rủi ro các bạn. Risk, the probability that an adverse event will occur, là cái khả năng một cái sự kiện trái ngược có thể xảy ra, sự kiện bất lợi có thể xảy ra. The treasury function may be involved in various aspects of financial risk management. Financial risk là rủi ro tài chính. Financial risk relate to unforeseen change or development in monetary items, such as currency exchange rate and interest rates, or the market price of shares. 25k. Cái này, rồi xong bỏ vô download, delete, okay. Similarly, a non-US company may hold a large quantity of US dollars. If so, it will be at risk of fall in the dollar's value against its national currency. Financial risk management involves taking measures to keep the financial risk within an acceptable limit. This can be a complex area of finance, audit and assurance. Chứng toán và bảo hiểm các bạn. Assurance means providing an expression of opinion about something, for example, a financial statement, having compared it with established standards or requirements. Assurance engagement. Accountants provide assurance as part of formal engagement or investigative task to provide an opinion about something. An assurance engagement results in expression of opinion, which as a result of the investigation of a subject matter, such as reliability or a financial forecast. Comparison with established standards. An assurance engagement involves comparing the subject matter of the investigation, for example, how information has been prepared in financial statement, with an established standard of requirements. Audit. An audit is a form of assurance. The term audit can be used for other assurance engagements such as environmental audit. However, in an audit engagement, the auditor must provide reasonable assurance, limited assurance. External audit. External audit is periodic examination of accounting books and records by an independent auditor to express an opinion whether the financial statement are prepared in all material respects in accordance with an identified financial reporting framework. External audit examines financial statement, board of director prepare, shareholders, agents, external audit, opinion, landai. In an external audit of financial statement, there are three parties: the external auditors, the company board of directors who are responsible for the preparation of financial statements, and the company shareholders are usually the primary intended users of financial statements. External auditors kiểm toán viên bên ngoài are engaged to provide an opinion about the reliability of the financial statement and whether or not they give a true or fair view of the company's performance and financial position. In many cases, it is illegal duty to have the financial statement audited by an independent external auditor. The contents of the financial statement and the information used to prepare them are checked against established generally accepted accounting principles or GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, legal requirements and established accounting standards. Tôi nghĩ là cái báo cáo tài chính không được chuẩn bị bởi các kiểm toán viên bên ngoài. Điều pháp lý và yêu cầu kiểm toán viên độc lập bên ngoài kiểm tra báo cáo tài chính. Để còn it is a legal duty to have the financial statement audited by an independent auditor must give the company's shareholder opinion about the financial statement having obtained sufficient evidence. Audit reports should provide reasonable assurance to the true or fair view. Okay. Internal audit. Internal audit is a function within an organization. It differs from external audit in several ways. The external audit function of a company is an independent, objective, assurance or consulting activity. Its purpose is to conduct investigation and other activities to improve company's operations. It applies a systematic and disciplined approach to evaluate and improving risk management and control effectiveness in financial reporting, operational activities, and compliance with laws and regulations. Internal audit is a voluntary function. In most countries, a company has no legal requirement to have an internal audit function. However, a corporate governance code maybe include recommendation that companies should have one. Principles. Internal auditors operation of activity, responsibility, party performs. Okay. There are three parties in an internal audit engagement. First party is person responsible for the subject matter. Is usually a management or a group of managers. Then the second party is the internal auditor. The third party body charged with governance, such as board of directors, the audit committee, or senior manager. It may occasionally be able to be people outside connected. Subject matter. The subject matter of an assurance engagement may be a statement about the historical result of an organization or an examination of operations or forward-looking, such as profitability focus or the following year, comparison against standards or criteria. Internal auditors track the subject matter against established criteria, standards, and benchmarks. An audit of the effectiveness of system of internal controls involves checking control performance with standard established procedures for control. An assurance investigation into the profit forecast compares the figures the report with established assumption that which the forecast has been based. Kiểm tra đảm bảo và dự báo lợi nhuận sinh thành các số liệu trong báo cáo với các giả định thiết lập chủ nhận opinion. Internal audits produce a written report for the standard user. This may be required to give reasonable assurance, but in many cases may be required to provide just limited assurance. For subject matter whose content is forward-looking, such as forward, only limited assurance is possible. Mai dài quá. Independence of internal auditor. This is a potential problem when internal auditors are employees in the organization. The independence of auditors' opinion should be protected. Internal auditors must be able to give an independent opinion based on their professional judgment. Preserving internal auditor independence. If the chief internal auditor reports to someone in management, audit assignment may involve checking the information prepared or the work done by bosses or colleagues. This would be a threat to their independence. They might feel compromised when criticizing their management. The chief internal auditor should report directly to the audit committee or possibly the board of directors and not to executive manager such as the chief financial officer, financial director. But the chief internal auditor should report to an executive manager for day-to-day administrative purposes. But the chief external auditor deciding the internal auditor's scope, the primary body to decide the internal audit scope of work should be the audit committee. They may ask the internal audit function to carry out assurance engagement and to provide a report to the committee. Sometimes the board of directors may ask for an audit or assurance engagement. Other internal entities may also influence internal audit scope, executive management, and instruct. While external audit for so many above specific size, they must be report by an external auditor on the company's financial statement. Several essential concepts of external audit are information for shareholders, independence, true and fair view, legal requirement, purpose, appointment of external auditor, role of audit, committee with external audits, review the external audit plan, discussion with the head of the audit team, deciding policies on non-audit work for the audit firm, review of the external audits. Deciding policy on non-audit work for the audit firm, reviewing the external audit, comparing external and internal audit requirement for audits, external or legally required annual and voluntary subject or audit, annual financial statement, a range of different issues, financial and non-financial matters, historical or forward-looking information, accounting and internal control systems. Purpose of audit to provide an opinion on whether the financial statement give a true value, to provide assurance for the audit committee, the board of directors, senior management, and possible shareholders. To do the work, external audit firm, either full-time internal auditors or use of external accountancy firm. Qualification. Auditors must be professionally qualified. Internal auditors need need not be qualified accountants. Kiểm toán viên nội bộ không cần phải là kế toán viên có trình độ. Internal auditors need not be qualified accountants. Type of audit opinion reasonable assurance required. Either reasonable or limited assurance may be required depending on the assignment decision. Shareholders at the annual general meeting will be recommendation by a board of directors. Board of directors will be recommendation by the audit committee. Whether the company Whether or not the company legally required to have an external audit will depend on the laws of the company in which it is based. Requirements will vary according to the company's size, measure, and turnover, number of employees, etc. Hết chưa? Đồ nó dài quá vậy. Học nhiêu phút rồi? 20 phút rồi. 20 phút mới hết nữa cái chat. Trời ơi, một ngày cày 10 cái chat là 200 phút. 200 phút thì tầm 3 tiếng hơn chứ là nhiêu. External and internal audit provides assurance regarding business. Which of the following statement are true regarding to the external auditors? The external auditors should provide assurance to the audit committee, the board of directors, senior manager, or possibly shareholders. Side, the external auditors should be independent from the company and its management. No, the external auditors need not to be side. The external auditors should provide information for the benefits of shareholders or of the company. 2 and 4 nha các bạn. Đây, chuẩn ngay. The chief internal auditor should report directly to the board nha các bạn. Audit committee cũng được. The internal audit function of the company is provided in-house, with the internal auditors employed directly by the organization. Which of the following statement is true? It is inappropriate for the internal auditor team to be direct employees as this compromise the no. The chief internal auditor should report to an executive manager for day-to-day. Đây, it's required, it's legal. Cái này là volunteer thôi nha các bạn, không phải là legal requirement đâu. Internal audit report on the truth and fairness of the financial statement side. Đó là của external budgets play an important role in management accounting reports. For the following activity best describe budgetary control. The writing of money owed to business when the customer is not going to pay. System of preparing budgets and producing regular control reports for management, reducing the cost of material waste, calculating the volumes of sales required to generate for the year. System of preparing budgets, calculate the volumes of sales required to generate for the year. Câu cuối nữa 100% các bạn. An organization reduces the credit terms it offers to the customers. This will have wash out the following effects on the receivables and cash levels of the business. Reduces the credit terms. Receivable will decrease nha các bạn. The credit terms. Receivable will decrease. Cash will decrease though. Cash will increase. Reducing the credit terms means customer will be required to pay earlier. This means the level of receivable will decrease. As payment is required earlier, cash will come into business instead of into the working capital cycle, and cash will therefore increase. Chapter 17, 23 câu. A treasurer of the company would be most concerned with which of the following issues: production variance, exposure to foreign trade fluctuation, compliance with regulatory requirement, production variance, foreign trade fluctuation. Đúng. Production variance. Two sides of compliance with regulatory requirement. Tuân thủ các yêu cầu quy định. General applicable responsible for monitoring the company's exposure to foreign exchange fluctuations, along with cash management, obtaining financing, and managing the impacts of taxation. Cost accounting is one function of management accounting that primarily involves identifying and evaluating production cost. Cost accounting is one function of management that primarily involves identifying and evaluating production cost through working capital is the difference between current assets, which are with the exclusion of cash and cash equivalents, and current exclusion of cash and cash equivalents and current liabilities. Là cái này mình nghĩ đa số là true đấy các bạn. True đấy các bạn. Sai. This false statement working capital is an asset of current assets over current liabilities. It includes cash and cash equivalent, which are part of the current assets. Vốn lưu động là sự khác biệt giữa tài sản lưu động, không bao gồm tiền mặt, các khoản tương đương và nợ ngắn hạn. Vốn lưu động là phần vượt quá của tài sản lưu động so với nợ ngắn hạn, nó bao gồm tiền mặt và các khoản tương đương tiền là một phần tài sản của lưu động. Đó là tài sản working capital, nó là tài sản lưu động. Which of the following is the main way in which effective coordination is achieved between different departments in the planning, budgeting, and production functions? The organization's reporting lines managerial planning meets standardized skills and knowledge. Main way in which effective coordination is achieved: the budget setting process. Reporting lines in budget setting process, planning, budgeting, and production function. The budget setting process identify all links between the department to be identified. The process of recording materials, labor, and overheads movement primarily relates to which accounting function of recording materials, labor, and overheads management kế toán quản trị. Cost accounting includes recording material, labor, and overheads. It is only one aspect of management accounting, which also includes cost control and decision making. Financial accounting deals with preparation of financial statement. Kế toán tài chính là để mà financial statement. Treasury deals with cash. Ok. Hiểu. VTBCO has introduced a new budgetary control system. Managers have been asked to prepare budgets for their areas of responsibility and have agreed this formally with senior executive. What is next stage of the process? Reviewing outcome in order to plan. So sánh chứ. Managers have been asked to prepare budgets for their areas of responsibility and have agreed this formally with senior executive. Agreement on action to be taken. Significant variance. Analyzes variances between actual and budgeted performance. Measurement of actual. Analyzes the measurement of actual business outcomes. The structures are on key stages of the budgetary process, which start with setting objective and move through sequence preparation, action, and review. Having prepared a budget for each area's responsibility, management have to measure the outcomes in order to proper analysis and review to take place. It's not possible to analyze variance until actual outcomes are known. Họ thường phải hành động thực hiện với những khác biệt đáng kể. It is possible to review the outcomes and plan appropriate action. The scope of external audit assignment is prescribed by management and the audit committee. False. Internal auditors are appointed by the organization's shareholders. False. External auditors provide an independent opinion on the organization's financial statement. True. The primary role of external audit is to provide an independent opinion by using auditors' report. External auditors are appointed by the board of directors based on recommendation of the true. This false statement, external auditors are appointed by shareholders or by the board of directors. This may be based on recommendation by the board of directors, but the appointment must be agreed by shareholder is a general meeting. Ok các bạn, tới đây là hết rồi. Tạm biệt các bạn. Chào mừng các bạn.